Oh, hello, recording, and hello, everyone here. This is Game Development Club. I'm Jess, that's Jeffrey, and that's Laura. And today we're going to be talking about Unreal Engine and Unity. We're just going to show some people who've never worked with game engines before what they're like, how to download them, and how to get started working with these cool engines. So this is Unreal, which you might have seen from the Unreal logo in the corner. And I think I should start with how to download it. You have to get the Epic Games Launcher. And actually, it's pretty interesting. You can just Google the Epic Games Launcher and Unreal and download it from there. But this is launched from the Epic Games Store like a game. So that's kind of interesting. It has its own tab in the Epic Games Store if you have to create an account there before you start. And after you created an account there and download the Epic Games Launcher, and then download Unreal Engine from the Epic Games Launcher, and then get into the engine here. Why don't we just start up a new project and show what it's like starting from scratch? So I should share the entire screen, not just that one. Has anyone here played Deep Rock Galactic? I love that game. So it's going to load up here.
Jess, your entire computer appears to be dying.
I think it's like counting it as a new application or something, so it's no longer sharing the old one.
Yeah, also your camera's black as well.
Well, that's suboptimal.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it says Zoom is closed. That's interesting, but I have the green sharing window around my screen.
Yay, Zoom.
Good old Zoom. Oh yeah, this is broken.
If you need to like leave the call, then
it says I'm not in a call at the moment.
Oh.
Task manager, I don't know.
I'm gonna have to go with task manager. Okay, so first off, Unreal Engine might take some system resources away from you. CPU usage 100%. That might have something to do with it.
Make sure to obtain a bucket in order to catch all the things if your processor melts.
I might be able to take over the screen share and that might fix it.
Yeah, can you force me out and then maybe it'll not die?
Okay. Oh my god, I have so many tabs open. Okay, cool. Here's my desktop. Did that fix you?
No.
Oh dear.
Why don't you continue with Unity and we'll get back to Unreal.
Okay, sounds good. So while Jess is troubleshooting, I guess I can go into Unity instead. So for Unity, kind of similar to Unreal, you have to download a couple different applications in order to get it. So the first one is this Unity Hub thing. That's kind of where like all of your Unity stuff is going to be stored. And when you bust it open, it looks kind of like this. So funny story, if you download Unity Hub, you don't actually get Unity. You have to install Unity as well, which is something that I forgot about until approximately an hour and a half ago when I remembered, oh wait, I need Unity. But thankfully it's a pretty quick download. You can just click on the release thing here, and then that'll install it for you. You can also add like these modules, which let you do like mobile app development, different operating systems build support, and they also let you publish to Unity's sort of like website where you can like share your games that you make with everybody. And I have no idea what Lumen is, but apparently they support that too, and also several languages, or like characters. I think those are character packages. So yeah. Once you've installed Unity, you can go into projects and make new projects. With this drop-down menu, if there's like something you want to make in like a specific version of Unity, I don't know why. Maybe like one of them has a functionality you like. They'll show up here. And then you can make a new project or just click on a brand new one. So we're going to go with this one, which is already opened. I forgot about that. So when you make a brand new project, not like downloading anything, this is what you're greeted with: a blank empty void with a little sun and a camera that don't really do anything right now. So to get this looking a little bit more interesting, you go over to this side of the screen and click on this little plus button right here. And that lets you add in a whole ton of stuff. I don't really remember what these two do. But here we can add like 3D objects, there's effects, lighting systems. You can add in like, for like directional sound, you can add like a microphone or something, not a microphone, a speaker. And yeah, a whole ton of UI and also a secondary camera if you want to do stuff with that. So we're just going to make a little cube because that's a good starting point. I'm moving my zoom. So we have our cube here. You can click and hold to drag it around. You can click on a specific arrow to move it in just that direction. So here I can only move it in the Y direction, no matter where my mouse is. We're just going to reset where it is. If you want things to be a bit more exact, you can alter its position over here. And here we'll also make it a little bit bigger. So now we have a plane. And once you've actually like added that, you click on this little hand symbol up here to move yourself around inside of this window called the scene window. So to select something, you just click on it in this little tree area. As you add things, there'll be like drop-down menus and folders and all that stuff. So just clicking on one thing opens up all of the information about it. And so here you can sort of see like this is its mesh. You can make it look like different things depending on like, you know, capsule. You can make it rounded or cylindrical, turn it into a sphere, but based off of its scale, which is pretty interesting. And then in the renderer is where you can add like materials. You can make it like gridded or see-through or a black empty void. Or you could, you know, just make it the impossible color if you really want to. But we're just going to keep the default for now. These things are all for like rendering and lighting. I'm not going to get into that. And then down here is like the physics. And if you want more stuff, like if I wanted this thing to play an audio track, I don't have an audio track for it to play. But if you wanted to, you could add that down here. If I wanted it to be like glowy or on fire or something, you could add effects. There's a whole ton of stuff that you can do with Unity. You really just kind of have to play around and see what all of these different things do. But for now, I'm going to add another 3D object, not a cube. Zoom is in my way again. Okay. I didn't want that one, so we're going to delete it and add a sphere. There we go. So as you can see, our little sphere friend is highlighted down here because it's technically underneath. It's under the map. So we're going to want to pop that bad boy up here. And now this is, let's see, where is it? I forget exactly. So we have our sphere now, and it has a collider, but I don't believe it's affected by gravity. Oh, they changed what it's called. Oh, here we go. Rigid body 2D. I guess that's part of the collider. Okay, sorry. They updated this since the last time I've used Unity, so some things have changed. So I believe if we hit play now, this will start up the action in the scene, and anything with physics objects will start to be acted on by their physics. So if we hit play, we'll snap to the camera view, and it is not actually being affected by gravity.
Rigid body
Hmm.
3D maybe? Instead of
Possibly.
2D?
Oh, yes. Rigid body. There we go. So now when we hit play, it should fall. And since the base also has a collider, it'll stop when it hits that collider. And then to just reset it back to what you wanted, you hit play again. And then as you can see, it's back up above. But as I'm sure you're already realizing, this white thing is kind of blinding, just staring at a white void. So we're also going to go into Unity assets. That's like one of the big things with Unity and also Unreal, these open source engines, is they have like a massive asset store. So Charles, yes?
What kind of collider does the cube have?
The cube, I believe, just has like a default
Oh, it's just box collider. Okay.
Yeah, it spawns in with a box collider, and then if you want something special, you can like delete that one and add a new one.
Got it. Thank you.
So to get assets, you can go here and import some packages. No, that's not the thing I want. Okay. I guess Unity doesn't want to show me that, but here is Unity's asset store, and they have a ton of stuff, paid and free. Like some of these things are very expensive, but they're also very, very good. So we can go here and pick like, say, some textures, so we're not like being blinded by that. You literally just click add to my assets, accept. And now we open up Unity, and that'll pull up this package manager. That's how the assets from the asset store are saved in Unity as packages. So here we can go to, sorry. So this is the one that we just got, and it's not actually on my computer right now because I just bought it. So we're going to need to download it. That can take a little bit, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to use this textures package that I already have downloaded, but it's not in this project, so we still need to import all of those assets into our project, and that goes a lot quicker. So now we just make sure everything is checked. If there's like something specific that you want from an asset and you don't want to like take up space and like make your thing cluttered, you can like just click that one. So say like I just wanted this ground one. Then I could unselect everything else, but I do want everything. So now it's going to import everything, and then eventually, oh, I got an error message, but I don't think it was a problem. So now we can go down here and we have assets and our textures. So if we pop that open, that'll show us all of these different textures that we have. Ground 1, ground 2, all that fun stuff. So we're just going to pull one of these up, and then you can just kind of drag and drop it onto your thing, and that'll immediately update its texture. So this down here is where all of your assets are going to be stored. Once you get around to writing code, that'll get stored in like a different folder. There'll be like a lot of different folders for like characters, code, movement, textures, meshes, all that stuff will be stored down here, and you can just navigate to it just like a normal file system. And yeah, this will also, down here is the console as well. It'll show you if something goes wrong. So like I have a warning down here for some reason, like some of my assets conflict with something else that I own. I don't really know what that means, but this is where you can look if something is breaking in your scene and you don't know why. And yeah, that's just about it. So this is just like a basic walkthrough of Unity's UI that we were doing. Jess, are you fixed?
I sure am. I closed my 100 Chrome tabs.
Yeah, that's probably what was happening.
Sorry about crashing, everybody. I entirely blame cybersecurity for that.
Alrighty.
But now we know what Zoom crashing looks like. So that's interesting, at least. So Unreal is really similar to Unity. It was cool seeing how the layout of both of them is very much the same. Unity differs mostly in how it's tied with the Unreal, or the Unreal Engine differs from Unity in how it's really tied to the Unreal Store, and most things go through the Unreal Store to do things like get assets and stuff like that. So we're at the create new project screen right now. Can you all see this? Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So when you just click on the Unreal Engine after you download it from the Unreal Engine store, this is the first thing you'll see. And this is the test I made a while ago, but we're not going to use that. We're going to start from scratch by clicking on games, which is what probably most of us are interested in. But you can also use the Unreal Engine for things like film, architecture, and automotive purposes. I've never messed around with any of these before, but probably someone could get some usage out of that. So now we have templates, and you can use the Unreal Engine for many things. And if you want to start from a good, template that has most of the things that you want already in it, you can do things like a virtual reality template to get a virtual reality camera pre-made for you. Top-down template is pretty useful for most games of that nature. But we're going to go with the first person because that's the most common type of game, and everyone loves those. Now, for project settings, you can start from scratch if you want to, which has none of the starter content that most of the templates come with. You would do this if you wanted to, I don't know, have a more simplistic view. If you're just starting out, it might be useful to not have that clutter in there, and also to decrease the file size of whatever you're making so you don't have unused stuff in your project. You can also lower quality if things like Zoom is crashing for you. But we're going to start with the starter content right now and jump right into it. And this is going to initialize, then show what we were looking at earlier, which is the template first person level. And here we are. So the first thing you'll notice is this really does look a lot like Unity. The play button is just like Unity. You can click play to jump into the game and do things like that. There's a little noise, and you can move these little boxes around with those physics, just like the physics we talked about with Unity. These work a little differently though, but we'll talk about that a bit later. So the layout of this is much the same. We have a tree over here of everything that's in the world right now, called the world outliner. If, say, you've placed a light somewhere and you can't find it, but you know you placed it, you can search through the world outliner for all the different types of objects that exist in your world at the moment. And the details panel will show you details on anything you click on. So you can also select things in the world outliner just by selecting them in the world. And for instance, we have here editor cube 9, which is the best editor cube. And you can see here in the details panel, once we select that, we have all the details of this cube. You can do things like add components, which you can do if you want to make things a bit fancier. You can add scripts to things and stuff like that. But in Unity, we just looked at things like gravity and making these things not static, but actually have physics in the world. And this thing always has that kind of baked in there from the get-go. It's just physics, and you can click it on or off like that. And this one's a pre-made cube. If you want to make one from scratch, you have to go to the kind of, it's not the place actors, I guess it is the place actors doc right here. And from here, you can do things like place basic empties. You can have a cube right here and just click on physics to make this like all the other cubes. You can see that it just drops to the ground like normal. You can also do things like create player starts. Pawns is a base class. It's kind of a more complex subject of talking about how pawns and stuff interact with each other. So we might not talk about that now, but lights, you can just add more lights to your scene. Or if you want to be more complex, you can add a sun to your scene to have a light with a constant shadow everywhere. And yeah, these are all your basic shapes. Lights, there's the directional sun we're talking about. You can add cameras here. You can just look through all these tabs. Decals are always fun. You can add skyboxes. Now, geometry is different from basic cubes because these are a little bit more fun. You can do things like mess with the textures of them and also do things like Boolean them with other geometries so that you can carve out holes in the middle of the cubes and stuff like that. So it's a bit more complicated than just cubes because you can have different types of cubes that are basic and some that are actual geometry. And so that's kind of the place actors panel. I'll delete that real quick. And down here is the content browser. It's just a file tree that you can use to navigate through the things you have downloaded in your project. I hope they have textures here. If not, this import button will help you get anything you don't have already. Nice, they do give us textures. So let's just put some grass on here, I guess. This invisible skybox might be blocking it. And we have some very blurry grass right here. And so you can add things to the materials that way. I think you can just click and drag them directly onto the brushes too. Yeah. Oh, that looks very neat. So yeah, the textures work that way. So as you can see, it's a lot similar to Unity in some ways, but other ways it's not similar. For instance, the marketplace, where we can get assets from other people. This will actually take you to the Unreal store where you can actually buy things like along with games. They have a tab there that have like games and then Unreal Engine content that you can purchase as well. And I'm not signed in right now, so I don't think I can use that. But that's about it for a high level overview. Is there any part of this people want to see me look at a little bit more? Can we add the stone back to it and get this really cool looking fake geometry they add? I love how they do that.
In Unreal, can you edit like, I guess like the size of textures? So like, because those stones are very, very big. Like, can you make it so it's, regular sized bricks kind of?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. That might be a bit advanced for a beginner overview, but you have to go to a node outliner for that, I believe.
But it's just, you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I might have to look up how to do that for a later tutorial if you want to learn more about that. But I think for this class, we're kind of just talking about Unreal Engine right now, just because it's definitely one of the most popular game engines out there. But I think we're going to be working with Unity for the most part. So I think everyone should try to get that downloaded so we can do tutorials on that a bit later and do things like maybe group projects or maybe work individually on Unity tutorials and share how they go or something. I don't know. But I think Unity is definitely the way to go. We just wanted to cover all the bases with Unreal, I think. Looks like there was a chat message. Unreal gives away free assets every month. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So you can get a lot of free assets on Unreal. I think it's also worth pointing out that Unreal is has a bit less tutorial content than Unity, and that makes the learning curve a bit harder for Unreal.
Yeah, that actually segues kind of nicely into something I realized I forgot about. Unity actually has like base tutorial games. They call them, what do they call them? Micro games. They're called micro games, where basically they give you the shell of like an FPS game or like a 2D platformer or something like that with all the things you need to make it work, kind of like this. And they have like a whole like progression system through their Unity learning thing on their website that just walks you through like navigating the important parts of the UI for the specific game that you're making, and like how each of the parts work and how to export the game. And then they just kind of set you loose to noodle around in the world that they give you. So definitely Unity does have a lot more community sort of tutorials and support. If you just look up Unity tutorials on like YouTube or Google, you'll find like hundreds of thousands of really good results. Whereas Unreal, it's more, from what I know, it's used a lot professionally, but less so in indie spaces or like just people trying to get into the industry. An interesting thing about Unreal is it's actually used like a lot in CGI and 3D animation. If you're familiar with Red versus Blue and Rooster Teeth, Red versus Blue is made entirely in Unreal. And a lot of companies that do 3D animation on a large scale use Unreal because apparently it has like really good, like very realistic lighting effects, and all this sorts of stuff that you can use for like direction and all that. So if you're interested in making like a movie or something, Unreal might be a good thing for that. I don't think Unity has something like that, but if you just want to like dip your toes into the water with game development and like making your first game, Unity would probably be the better option. It just kind of depends on what you want to do with it.
Right. I mean, just look at this crazy node editor.
That is a very complicated material.
Yeah. It goes deep. We're just doing like surface level stuff right now. You can do insane stuff with both of these engines.
Yeah, I think you have to do it on a geometry to edit texture size, maybe. Anyway, yeah. And you can, if you want to edit textures, you can also make some cool kind of like links between textures and materials, or you can have materials that build off of each other and stuff like that. And I think I worked around with that a few years ago, and that was pretty deep rabbit hole. The subsystems in this is huge. I think they have a gigantic particle effect side of this that takes a long time to learn, almost as much as the base engine. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different ways for you to specialize with both of these engines. There's just, you can do all kinds of insane stuff, and they're adding new things to them all the time. People are finding new ways to break it in really cool and useful ways. Yeah.
Cool.